Hey, and welcome everybody. Welcome back. It's been a while. Yeah, life got to me, but we're here and we're ready for the next episode of Let's Build. And today we are going to be talking about the next test that we're going to be doing. Um, and this test is called One Sentence. And what we are trying to do here is take that giant mess we had up on the whiteboard and distill it down. So usually people mistake this for an elevator pitch, but it's not. This is just a way to convey the core of idea, the very heart of what we are talking about, what we are believing in, into one sentence. And now this can be incredibly hard to do, but this is probably one of the best ways of sharing an idea in a way that you can collect honest feedback. And as you can guess, the next few steps from here, that's what we're going to be doing. We need to go out and communicate our idea to other people and get feedback on that. And it's best to not do that in a way that is very confusing. A mind map just will not cut it. And most people will get lost after a one pager. Most can't even read a paragraph. So we need to distill our idea, you know, down to one sentence. And this can be quite tricky. For those of you who've been following along, you know that I haven't been rushing ahead with trying to get all of this down. I've been moving quite methodically and slowly within the sort of parameters that I'm allowed to work under. I've got a great deal of pressure at work. I've got family commitments. Um, so all of these things come into play when trying to keep up with the requirements of moving ahead with this project. And yeah, I have struggled with that a lot, and I have thought about how they can be improved. I think there just needs to be a lot less room for procrastination, and I think this is part of my process of learning to grow. I'm inspired to work harder when I have to work to free up time so that I can engage with you and this material more often. So that being said, it does feel like I had a little bit of an advantage because I've had more time to think about all the stuff, but I basically wrote down uh, my my first step. So the first step is you write one page. You take your idea, you flesh it out, you fill an A4 piece of paper, and then from there you take the core of that idea, you distill it into one paragraph, and then from there you go into one sentence. And um, unlike the previous exercise, the mind map, which is all about getting all of your thoughts out onto the board as quickly as possible, I think it's okay if you take your time with it. Take as long as you need. I did that. Um, I also had a great deal of time to think about what it is that I wanted to do. This idea's been in my head for quite a while. So, and I've also had a lot of time to engage with the community and the material, and I read a lot. Always curious in understanding more about the world, and so uh, over time, this idea has just been growing, and I have a lot of thoughts that I could write down, and a lot of them, I will say, just from writing out this thesis, I wouldn't be able to easily, or maybe I could, but I don't think it's something that I could necessarily send to a stranger on the street to say, hey, um, look at this one page and tell me if this is a good idea. That's really not going to strike up a conversation and get someone to explore your idea with you. The whole idea is you go from this essay that I wrote and you flesh out this idea, you begin to think about things about your idea that you might have not have thought of before. And when you force to condense it into that material, You now are left with a paragraph, and you've stripped away all the fluff. You are trying as hard as possible to retain as much information as possible while still being coherent and understandable. And then you take it one step further, and now you have one sentence. And with this, you now have a conversation starter. You're buying a coffee, you're waiting in the line to renew your driver's license, or there are plenty of ways that you can use one sentence to spark a conversation, to get feedback. Because what you want is for people to engage with your ideas. You don't want to preach something to them, or perhaps even lecture them on something that they just get imposed upon them. With having one sentence, you now have a talking point where you can freely move across a conversation in engaging dialogue with whoever it is you're speaking to, that allows new ideas, new criticisms, new new everything to come in to the space. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed this exercise as well, as I've done with all of them. They're teaching me a lot about myself and about ideas and how to think about things, how to plan. I just saw so much value in the way that I've been engaging with this process, being sort of somewhat faithful to you, the audience, not really on time, but showing up for myself, for you, and discovering, you know, all the intricacies of this journey. I have decided that I'm going to start recording all of the paper materials and possibly upload them to GitHub so that they can easily be shared. They'll be indexed according to the episode that the material has been created. I think I'll perhaps not really share the first exercise. I might have, it felt a little bit too personal, so I might just hold that back. I'll think about that for a while. And the GitHub page will be part of the growing platform, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you for being with me, and I will see you in the next one.